Sometimes life isn't loud. Sometimes it doesn't arrive with fireworks or perfect words. Sometimes it's quiet, steady, honest. We spend so much of our lives searching for meaning, for connection, for someone who feels like home in a world that never stops moving. We learn that love isn't about perfection, it's about presence. It's about choosing someone, not just once, but every day, even when things are uncertain, even when fear whispers doubts. Today, this moment isn't about grand promises or dramatic gestures. It's about courage, the courage to open your heart, the courage to say, I'm here just as I am, with my flaws, my hopes, my loyalty, my commitment to grow. So this question doesn't come from pressure or expectation. It comes from respect, from patience, from a quiet confidence that says, whatever the future holds, I want to walk it with you. And that's why I ask simply, honestly, and with my whole heart, can I be your husband? I believe love begins long before the question is asked. It begins in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when the world slows down just enough for two people to notice each other without masks. It begins when you see someone not as an idea, not as a fantasy, but as a human being with history, scars, fears, and dreams that are still unfolding. I've learned that real love isn't loud, it doesn't rush, it doesn't demand. It stands there patiently and says, I'm here, even when things are uncertain, even when I don't have all the answers. I don't come to you claiming perfection. I don't believe perfection is real, and if it were, it would be fragile. What I offer is presence, the kind that stays, the kind that listens when words are hard to find, the kind that chooses understanding over winning, patience over ego, and honesty over comfort. I've learned that life can be heavy, and sometimes people don't need solutions. They need someone who will sit beside them in silence and not disappear when things feel complicated. Being a husband to me is not about control or ownership. It's about responsibility of the heart. It's about protecting what is sacred between two people. It's about waking up every day and choosing the same person again, even on days when the world feels unkind, even when exhaustion creeps in, even when fear tries to convince us to pull away. Love isn't proven in perfect moments. It's proven in ordinary days when commitment quietly does its work. I want to be the place where you feel safe enough to be yourself completely, where you don't have to perform, explain, or pretend, a place where your silence is respected and your voice is valued. I want to learn your rhythms, your pauses, the way you carry joy, and the way you process pain, not to fix you, but to understand you, not to change you, but to grow alongside you. I understand that trust isn't given all at once. It's built slowly through consistency, through showing up when it's inconvenient, through choosing kindness when it would be easier to withdraw, through loyalty that doesn't waver when circumstances change. I'm willing to build that trust brick by brick, moment by moment, without rushing you, without forcing timelines, without turning love into pressure. I believe partnership means walking side by side, not ahead, not behind. It means respecting your independence while offering my strength. It means celebrating who you are today while supporting who you're becoming. It means understanding that love evolves and committing to grow with it rather than holding it hostage to the past. I want to be the man who protects your peace, not disturbs it. The man who supports your dreams, not competes with them. The man who stands firm when life shakes us and remains gentle when you need softness. I want to be steady, not dramatic, reliable, not overwhelming, strong enough to carry responsibility and humble enough to admit when I'm wrong. This question doesn't come from urgency. It comes from clarity, from knowing that love isn't about grand gestures, but about quiet endurance, about building a life that feels honest, grounded, and real. I'm not asking for a fairy tale. I'm asking for a partnership rooted in truth, respect, laughter, forgiveness, and growth. If I become your husband, I choose to learn you for a lifetime, to keep listening even when I think I understand, to keep showing up even when it's hard, to keep loving you not just in moments of happiness, but in seasons of change, to be committed to becoming better, not just for myself, but for what we share. So this question isn't dramatic, it's deliberate. It's asked with calm confidence, with open hands, with a heart that understands the weight of commitment and still chooses it. Not because love is easy, but because it's worth protecting, worth nurturing, worth waking up for every single day, even when the road ahead isn't clear, even when the future feels unknown, even when all I can promise is that I will remain present, loyal, and willing to walk forward with you, learning, growing, choosing us again and again, believing that real love is built in the quiet decision to stay, to care, to stand firm, and to keep moving together without fear of time, without fear of change, without fear of the unknown, trusting that what we build with patience and honesty can become something deep enough to hold us through every season of life, through every challenge, through every unspoken moment where love doesn't need words, because it is already understood, already chosen, already alive in the way two people look at each other and know that whatever comes next, they are not walking alone. You've come to understand that love is not a feeling you fall into and hope it stays. Feelings change with time, with pressure, with the weight of life. Real love is a decision you make when feelings are quiet, when excitement fades, when routine settles in. It's a decision you return to again and again without being reminded, without being forced. Love shows its true strength not in moments of passion, but in moments of choice. Every day presents a moment where you decide who matters, in small actions, in patience, in restraint, in the way you respond instead of react. Love is choosing to listen when you're tired, choosing kindness when you could be sharp, choosing understanding when misunderstanding would be easier. It's waking up and saying, "Today I choose you," not because everything is perfect, but because commitment matters more than comfort. I believe love is built in repetition, in the everyday moments that don't look special from the outside but mean everything on the inside. Sharing silence without discomfort, sharing responsibility without resentment, sharing burdens without keeping score. Love grows when two people stop asking what they can get and start asking what they can give without losing themselves. There will be days when life feels heavy, days when energy runs low and words don't come easily. On those days, love isn't proven by excitement, it's proven by presence. By staying engaged when withdrawal feels tempting, by choosing closeness instead of distance, by remembering that partnership means you don't face the weight of the world alone. I don't believe love is about intensity. Intensity burns fast and fades quickly. I believe in steadiness, in showing up the same way on good days and difficult ones, in being predictable in loyalty, reliable in care, consistent in respect. That kind of love doesn't shout, it reassures, it doesn't overwhelm, it grounds. Choosing love daily means understanding that both people will change. Growth is unavoidable, seasons shift, priorities evolve. The decision is not to freeze each other in time, but to adapt together, to learn new versions of each other without fear, to remain curious instead of critical, to allow space for becoming without letting distance grow. Love also means choosing forgiveness over pride, not ignoring pain, but working through with honesty, not keeping records of mistakes, but focusing on repair, choosing to talk instead of shutting down, choosing humility instead of control. These choices don't weaken love, they strengthen it. I see love as an agreement to protect the connection even when emotions are complicated, to speak carefully when words could wound, to pause when anger wants to lead, to remember that the person in front of you is not the enemy, even in conflict. Love survives, not because conflict is avoided, but because respect remains intact. Choosing love every day also means choosing growth, choosing to become better not out of fear of loss, but out of respect for the bond you're building. It means self-reflection, accountability, and the willingness to evolve. Love doesn't ask for perfection, but it does ask for effort. I don't want a love that only exists when conditions are ideal. I want a love that functions in reality, one that understands fatigue, stress, and uncertainty, one that adapts without breaking, one that is rooted in values rather than moods, a love that stands quietly and steadily even when life is loud. This kind of love is intentional. It doesn't rely on chance. It is built through consistent choices that may seem small in the moment but create something unshakable over time. It's choosing to stay emotionally available, choosing honesty even when it's uncomfortable, choosing partnership instead of isolation, If love is a daily decision, then I am willing to make that decision without hesitation, to choose patience when things are slow, to choose understanding when perspectives differ, to choose commitment when the road feels long, to choose you not as an idea, but as a real person every single day through change, through growth, through seasons that test resolve and reveal character, understanding that love becomes meaningful not because it is easy, but because it is chosen consistently, quietly, and with full awareness of what it requires, trusting that this steady choice, repeated over time, builds something strong enough to carry two people forward through everything life unfolds without needing to promise perfection or certainty, only the unwavering decision to keep choosing each other in the way that matters most. I believe strength doesn't always look the way people expect it to. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's gentle, sometimes it's the ability to stay calm when everything feels uncertain. Safety in love isn't built by dominance or control, it's built by consistency, by knowing that the person beside you will not disappear when things become difficult, when emotions get complicated, when life stops making sense for a while. Loyalty to me is not just about faithfulness in presence, but faithfulness in intention. It's choosing to protect the bond even when no one is watching. It's speaking with respect even in frustration. It's honoring the relationship not because of fear, but because of value. Loyalty is understanding that love is something you guard carefully, not something you take lightly or expose carelessly. I want to be a place where your heart can rest, where you don't have to question motives or second guess intentions, where words and actions align, where promises aren't dramatic but dependable. Safety grows when someone knows they don't have to constantly defend their feelings, explain their worth, or compete for attention. It grows when trust becomes natural, not negotiated. Quiet strength is the ability to hold space, to listen without interrupting, to stay grounded when emotions rise, to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. It's the strength to admit mistakes without ego, to apologize without excuses, to learn without defensiveness. This kind of strength doesn't seek control, it offers reassurance. I understand that everyone carries fears shaped by past experiences. Love has a way of reopening old wounds if it's careless. That's why safety matters. Emotional safety, the kind that allows vulnerability without punishment, the kind that treats honesty as courage, not weakness. I want to build a relationship where openness is met with care, not judgment. Our being steady doesn't mean being distant. It means being reliable, being the same person in private and in public, being predictable in values, not boring in spirit. It means showing up emotionally, not just physically. It means staying engaged even when silence stretches, even when words feel heavy, even when the moment asks for patience instead of answers. Loyalty also means choosing the relationship during conflict, not walking away when things feel uncomfortable, not threatening distance as a form of control, not using silence as a weapon. It means staying present enough to work through misunderstandings with maturity, to remember that disagreement does not cancel commitment. Br. I don't believe love should feel unsafe or unstable. I don't believe it should leave you anxious or uncertain about where you stand. Love should feel grounding. It should feel like something solid beneath your feet when life feels unpredictable. That kind of stability doesn't happen overnight. It's built through repeated proof that words mean something and actions follow through. Quiet strength is protecting your peace as much as your dreams. It's knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to lead and when to support. It's being confident enough not to dominate, secure enough not to control, strong enough to remain gentle. This strength creates space for two people to exist fully without fear of being diminished. I want to be loyal in ways that go beyond expectation, loyal to your growth, loyal to your healing, loyal to the future we build together. Not clinging, not possessive, but committed. The kind of loyalty that says, I'm here and I'm not looking for an exit when things get real. Safety is also knowing that your emotions will be respected even when they're inconvenient, that your voice will matter even when opinions differ, that your boundaries will be honored without resentment. I want to build something where trust doesn't have to be constantly reassured because it's consistently demonstrated. Quiet strength is waking up every day and choosing steadiness over chaos, choosing integrity over impulse, choosing patience over pressure. It's understanding that love doesn't need to be dramatic to be deep. It needs to be reliable enough to last. I don't promise to be perfect, but I promise to be solid, to be someone you can lean on without fear of collapse, someone who values calm over conflict, depth over display, loyalty over ego, someone who understands that real strength in love is not about proving power, but about creating safety, consistent, sigh, and trust that grows silently over time in the way two people learn to breathe easier around each other, knowing that the ground beneath them is firm, knowing that they are not alone, knowing that presence, loyalty, and quiet strength can carry a relationship through uncertainty without needing noise, drama, or constant reassurance. Just the steady understanding that what is being built is protected, respected, and held with care day by day, moment by moment, without needing to be announced or defended. Simply lived time has a way of revealing who we are and what truly matters. Nothing stays exactly the same, and that's not something to fear. Growth is inevitable. We evolve through experience, through challenges, through moments that stretch us beyond who we thought we were. What matters is not resisting that change, but choosing to grow together instead of apart. I don't expect you to remain the same person forever, and I don't want to be. Love isn't about preserving a moment in time. It's about adapting with intention, learning new versions of each other with patience, allowing room for transformation without creating distance, staying curious instead of becoming critical. Growth feels safer when it's shared. There will be seasons where one of us is stronger, more certain, more steady, and seasons where the other needs support, reassurance, or time to regain balance. Growing together means understanding that balance shifts and that partnership doesn't require equality in every moment, only commitment to each other through all of them. I believe love deepens when two people allow space for becoming, when dreams change, when priorities shift, when life introduces unexpected turns. Growth asks for flexibility, not fear. It asks for trust that change doesn't mean loss, but expansion, that who we are becoming can still meet in the middle. Walking through time together means learning patience with the process. Some growth is slow, some lessons repeat, some healing takes longer than expected. What matters is staying present through it, not rushing outcomes, not comparing timelines, trusting that progress doesn't have to be loud to be real. I want to build a relationship where growth is encouraged, not threatened, where ambition is supported, not questioned, where curiosity is welcomed, not dismissed, where becoming more doesn't create distance but deepens connection. Growing together means celebrating each other's evolution instead of fearing it. Time also teaches humility. It reminds us that control is an illusion, that certainty comes and goes, that the strongest relationships are not the ones that avoid change, but the ones that move through it with grace. Growing together means choosing partnership over fear when the future feels unclear. I understand that growth can be uncomfortable. It can expose insecurities, it can challenge patterns, but it can also strengthen bonds when approached with honesty, when communication stays open, when vulnerability is met with patience, when both people remain willing to adjust instead of withdraw. Growing together through time means learning to forgive past versions of each other, not holding old mistakes hostage, allowing space for improvement, recognizing effort, understanding that becoming better is a process, not a switch. Love becomes stronger when it allows room for learning. I don't want a love that stays frozen in one chapter. I want a love that evolves, that matures, that gains depth through experience, that becomes calmer, wiser, more grounded with time. A love that understands that intensity may fade, but connection can deepen if nurtured. Walking forward together means choosing consistency over convenience, choosing communication over assumption, choosing patience over pressure. It means recognizing that growth doesn't always look impressive, but it always matters. The quiet kind of progress that reshapes a life without needing validation. I want us to look back one day and see not just memories, but development. See how we changed and still chose each other. See how time refined us instead of separating us. See how growth became something we shared rather than something we survived. Growing together is not about reaching a destination, it's about committing to the journey, to learning, to adjusting, to staying connected even as life unfolds in unexpected ways. It's about trusting that as long as we keep choosing each other, time becomes an ally instead of a threat, a teacher instead of a test, shaping a partnership that doesn't rely on who we were at the beginning, but on who we continue to become side by side, step by step through every season, without rushing the future, without fearing change, simply moving forward together with patience, trust, and the understanding that love that grows with time gains a depth that cannot be rushed, forced, or replaced.